This is QTV News. I am Answana Esonyasi and thanks for joining us. Coming up, President Adama Barrow has said that he is inspired by Qatar's 2022 World Cup plans. The National Assembly resumed its sittings today after its annual month-long rain season break. A forum on security sector governance supported by the European Union and the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance has just had its opening ceremony. And residents living near a bridge almost at the point of collapse say conditions are becoming intolerable. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. And now we look at the news in detail. President Adama Barrow has said that he is inspired by Qatar's 2022 World Cup plans. Barrow, who is currently visiting the Gulf state for the first time, has been visiting key infrastructural projects ahead of the 2022 World Cup. As Alusise reports, President Barrow also held talks with His Highness Sir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani.
We pray and we hope that a little bit of pray. We pray. It's an important thing to support.
President Adama Barrow said he is inspired by what he saw during a conducted tour of new facilities being built by the state of Qatar in preparation for the next World Cup. This is the same year that the Gambia will play host to the OIC summit. Hence, for Barrow, there is a lot the Gambia can learn from Qatar as the West African nation continues preparation to host a different global convergence. President Barrow, upon arrival in Doha on Tuesday morning, departed his hotel to a conducted tour of the ultra-modern underground train station and an exhibition center. The Qatari Minister of Municipality and Environment is at the center of this advancement that is spearheading this ultra-modern architecture. His Excellency Mr. Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz bin Turki Al Subey, the Minister of Municipality and the Environment, accompanied President Barrow on these conducted tours of the facilities. The new railway is a part of the travel plans in for the hosting of the World Cup, when football fans from around the world are expected to flood the state of Qatar, the smallest country yet to have been awarded the rights to host the tournament. The modern facilities are designed to ease travel around the city and make the different stadia accessible. President Barrow also made the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy that is responsible for the organization and hosting of the World Cup. The President was briefed on the history of football in Qatar, its bidding for the World Cup, and the designs of the different stadia being built in preparation for the World Cup.
In 1951, we had our first tournament, but it wasn't the first competition. 1950 was when our first, the last one in 1969. So this is probably one of the most memorable achievements.
Beyond the football, the state of Qatar is focused on building these stadia with sustainability in mind. It plans to transform some of them into social amenities, from wedding halls to educational and other social facilities. The Legacy program, as it is referred to, is designed to give back to the local and global community after the World Cup, thus making infrastructure sustainable. President Barrow on Wednesday held talks with Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, where both leaders renewed their commitment to the Banjul-Doha ties. The two leaders also presided over the signing of 4 new agreements in the areas of communication, judiciary, customs, and youth and sports. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alusise.
The deputies at the National Assembly began their third sitting in the legislative year after a month-long break. Alusise reports that the Ministers of Basic and Secondary Education and Works and Transport respectively appeared before the deputies to respond to questions from deputies on matters relating to their ministries.
First to appear was the Basic and Secondary Education Minister Claudiana Cole. She told MPs that her ministry has come up with initiatives to enhance quality of basic education delivery, including, among other things, monitoring and supervision of teaching and learning at regional, cluster, and school levels. On the possibility of upgrading Badibu Nokunda Upper Basic School to a senior secondary school, Minister Cole replied in the negative. However, she revealed other plans.
I would suggest Ilyasa Basic Cycle to be upgraded to a senior secondary school, given the fact that there is no senior secondary school from Ilyasa to Farafenye.
The Basic Education Ministry owes the Gambia College and the University of the Gambia millions of dollars in tuition fees. This is said to be impacting on the operation of these tertiary institutions. The minister says the settlement of tuition fees is a priority to her ministry.
The recommendations were that the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education factor the entire arrears in the 2019 budget proposal, which was done, but unfortunately, it was not reflected in the final budget. Notwithstanding, we managed to pay the University of the Gambia $9 million out of the 23 million owed.
She went on to clarify why teachers and others are not paid allowances, such as double shift or hardship allowances during the summer holidays.
An allowance is paid for work done. And during August, of course we know, all the teachers are on holidays. They are not in these hard-to-reach areas, and they are not working at that time.
The ministry, she added, continues to invest in the human capital development of its employees, especially through the in-service training of teachers. 450 teachers are currently doing their in-service training at the Gambia College, while 316 are sponsored to the University of the Gambia by the ministry, and an additional 103 teachers by MRC Holland Foundation. Next to face the deputies was Works and Transport Minister Bailamin Job, who set light on several issues, among them the rehabilitation of feeder roads in Kiang, Basse, Sierra, and Fonyi regions.
For Basse Damfa Kunda, via Basse MRC, was also among the list of roads during the data collection. This road is located in a very critical area, found to be submerged during rainy seasons. The road is, by its nature, requires specific studies and design. It will require high embankment, a high bridge, and series of culverts along the length. Presently, Basse Damfa Kunda Taba Sangsang Road via Chamoy is also under construction, but this time through UNOPS, and is foreseen to be completed soon.
Meanwhile, at the start of the day's sitting, Speaker Mariam Jack Denton communicated to members that President Barrow will address the National Assembly on the 19th September. This is in keeping with sections of the Constitution requiring the President to attend a session of the National Assembly and undertake a nationwide tour at least twice a year. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Meanwhile, the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, which is supporting the Gambia's SSR process, recently hosted the opening ceremony for the project. The event and the project are supported by the European Union funding. Ajifatu Bintu Boob has more.
The integration of gender issues is being recognized as a key to operational effectiveness, local ownership, and strengthened oversight. Finding of the research over the years on the questions on gender across security sector institutions were shared at the event. This project is intended to look at how these matters are being managed in security sector institutions currently, and then to look at what needs to change as part of the security sector process to be implemented over the next couple of years. Jonathan Mali, SSR advisor in the Gambia, explains more.
Women are quite well represented in security institutions in the Gambia. However, when you look into the detail, what you see is that often they're not represented, and certainly not in positions of leadership. As the Minister said, less than 5% of the senior management of security sector institutions are women.
As the Gambia is embarking on a comprehensive reform, the Minister of Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare further elaborates.
We are all aware that the government of the Gambia recognizes gender equality and women's empowerment as a key factor to the attainment of social and economic development, and therefore is committed to ensuring gender equality, empowerment, and welfare of women and girls. As a result, a number of measures were taken to mainstream women and gender in the development process. Included among these was the establishment of the National Women's Council and Bureau, the formulation of the Gender and Women Empowerment Policy 2010-2020, and the Women's Act of 2010.
Navy Captain Fatih J. Tebalde shares her insight.
I think when we say gender, we need equal representative in all levels, because together we can develop this country. If we minimize the intake, the training, recruitment of female in the all armed and security forces, it's meaningless. If you are saying gender, we need everything. We should be equal in everything, in terms of training, recruitment, activities, whatever, any level in the country.
DCAF's project in the Gambia seeks to contribute to meaningful sector reform and greater accountability, leading to improved peace and security for the Gambian people. Ajifatu Bintumbu, QTV News.
And from that report by Ajifatu Mbub, we take a short commercial break. We will be right back.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With the touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
It is the new era in broadcasting. We showed it to you with our continuously improving content with thousands of viewers around the world. Now, how do you take advantage of our existing and constantly increasing viewership? Advertise with QTV and reach a large audience. Call us on 324444 or email marketing@qtv.gm. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. QTV Gambia. QTV, a new era in broadcasting.
Welcome back. Residents of Abuko Central have complained about the poor state of the Abbasi Bridge, which is causing mass erosion and unprecedented damage within the community. Ajibintu Drame went there to investigate and see our reports.
In their faces, frustration and hopelessness. The poor state of the bridge is causing a lot of damage, leaving residents' dwellings in a shambles. The sewage system connecting the water passage from Willingara to Abuko has created a giant gully caused by erosion. As a result, some roads are split into two, making transportation difficult, and also people's houses have also been damaged, forcing some residents to evacuate. The stagnant water is infested with mosquitoes, tap holes, and frogs, exposing residents to health hazard. Mumudu Korkaba repairs motorcycles for a living and has a workshop in the area. Being close to the bridge, his workshop is in imminent danger of collapse.
When it rained, we stand outside or somewhere down there until the rain stops. Then we go back to work. The water gets everywhere and no one can walk. The last time it rained, the fence of my shop fell down. We have been facing difficulties since last year.
Momodu uses bags of sand as a water deterrent and cement to maintain his dilapidated workshop. Fatunjai, who lives with her family, says she has been staying in the area for almost a decade, even before the bridge was constructed. She stated that other people were staying in the area at that time, but they all left due to the unbearable nature of the place. She further stated that the area has been turned into a workshop zone and a dump site.
Of course, we face lots of problems. When it rains at night, we go out. When it stops, we come back. During the day, it's the same.
She adds that they need help to ease their condition.
The government should help us move the house or look for a better place for us to stay.
At Abuko Drimakolong, the situation is the same. Water from the bridge destroys the footpath, forcing residents to construct a small bridge as a crossing point. Siena Bujalo, a victim, shared her frustration and helplessness.
This rain, we are restless. Everyone is frustrated. especially during the last rain. All our things got damaged. Our livestock, rice, furniture, everything is destroyed and nowhere to sleep at night, talk less of food. The water from the bridge passed through the fence, entering our houses.
Their only source of water is from a well, which is now full to the brim with contaminated water. She says they resort to using car tires as a shield to protect their beds at night. She pleads with government to come to their aid. Another bridge in the same area is causing the same problem, and the residents living there are also worried. For now, there appears no respite from the situation. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology holds a seminar to follow up on an ongoing feasibility study on climate change and technical training on climate and renewable energy.
Last year, MOHAST held a meeting to plan for a feasibility study on climate change and renewable energy in the Gambia with funding from German Ministry of Higher Education. Professor Sidat Yafa explains the progress so far.
Two separate things. We want to run both of them in the Gambia for the benefit of the Gambia. The feasibility study has started. Where are we now in terms of that feasibility study? We have identified, I think, 5 different themes, and each of those themes we have identified a research team leader. And those research team leaders is their responsibility to develop questionnaires to capture a lot of issues relating to climate change and renewable energy in the Gambia. And they have submitted all their questionnaires to the statistician, who is a staff of GBO, Gambia Bureau of Statistics, who is also a stakeholder in this feasibility study. So currently the statistician is compiling, and also to make sure that all the questions are relevant in capturing information that relates to climate change and renewable energy.
Climate change is one of the biggest problems the world is battling with. Participant and climate change researcher Dr. Mamadou Njai spoke briefly about climate change.
Climate change, for those who may not be aware, is one of the biggest global risks for a country like Gambia, where livelihoods are a major part of our economic sectors. Climate is a stressor. Climate plays an important role on decisions that are being taken, investments, and the actual performance of these sectors. If you talk about land use, what probably comes to mind is agriculture, but land has multiple uses.
Yafa further explains that a doctorate degree on climate change has been introduced at the university, as education is meant to solve societal problems, including environmental issues. Professor Yafa shared his opinion on floods and weather changes.
Climate variability. Variability meaning sometimes you have high rain, sometimes you have low rain. If you look at 2012, we had a drought. Maybe around 2013 too, we had a similar drought. But now, especially in 2019 rainy season, it is predicted that by up to October, end of October, we'll have sufficient rain that will help us in our agriculture production. So those are related to climate change. Climate change changes from time to time. But there are several factors that contribute to that change, whether it's going to be low rainfall or a high rainfall. For example, if we have low vegetative cover, few trees around the country, then you can expect, as one example, we can expect low rainfall. But if we have high number of trees that we have planted in this country, that's why it's very important to plant trees in the country.
The outcome of the seminar is expected to stimulate growth and development in the economy through creating employment in the solar industry, contributing to global mitigation efforts and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, amongst others. Malik Nyang for QTV News.
And now on to local football. The Defence Headquarters camp and Kairaba contested the first match in the tournament organized by the Babylon Village Youth and Sports Association. After a tough struggle, the match ended all square. Malik Nyang reports.
The epic battle contested between DHQ camp against Kairaba ended 0-0. DHQ camp dominated the match in the first half, After regaining their composure, Kairaba came out even more determined and had the greatest share of possession in the second half. Despite their territorial advantage in the second period, Kairaba lost many chances to grab that elusive goal. Both teams gave their all, but a goal just would not come. Last year, Kairaba not only got to the final of this tournament, they emerged victorious. As such, they were disappointed to start the defense of their crown with a drawn game. The team's head coach Usman Sarr said they will redouble their efforts in subsequent matches to regain their position reached last year. However, he described the Army team they had just played against as tough opponents and their main challenges.
Goal chance is always a problem, but we will 100% prepare for our next game because it's a competition and everyone will love to win. We play with the soldiers. The soldiers is our headache, but without the soldiers, inshallah, next game, people will see different from Kairaba.
The DHQ camp head coach, Sadibou Koli, said it is not bad for his team to draw their first game, but he remains optimistic and is looking forward to seeing his team in the final in the long run.
We will go back to the drawing board and we will prepare well, so then when you come here for our second game, we can able to see different in the players.
Sanusi Tal, who gave a speech at the event, said football can only be developed by targeting the grassroots, which will in turn help us to know the obstacles hindering Gambian football, and that this will equip youth and develop their skills in football before reaching to higher positions.
We need to help and develop the grassroots football to see what are the problems and what are the obstacles that Gambian football is not yet developed, and it is not at the level where it's supposed to be.
At the end of the match, the Secretary General of Babylon Village Youth and Sports Association, Musa Ndao, briefed the players and spectators about the association's objectives and future plans. Malik Nyang for QTV News.
And before we end this bulletin of the news, here's a recap of our main stories. President Adama Barrow has said that he is inspired by Qatar's 2022 World Cup plans. The National Assembly resumed its sittings today after its annual month-long rain season break. A forum on security sector governance supported by the European Union and the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance has just had its opening ceremony. And residents living near a bridge almost at the point of collapse say conditions are becoming intolerable. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Until then, thanks for watching.